I think it's a little rough right now.
Yeah.
Not too fondly of it right now.
It depends on who you ask, but a lot of people are really negative about it. But I think considering what's going on, we're doing all right.
I think we are at a dangerous and unstable place.
On the one hand, I have a lot of reasons to be pessimistic, but on the other hand, I also have lots of reasons to be optimistic.
Oh man, it's not good.
Why not?
Like the Republicans are destroying everything, man.
The administration is definitely stirring the pot more than they had in their first term. I'm a firm believer, though, overall, that our system is a lot stronger than one administration.
I'm not a current big fan of the man that's in office right now. I don't think that he really cares about people and America in whole. I think he just mostly cares about, billionaires.
I'm not sure if I would go so far as to say that he's trying to actively dismantle it, but I'm also not saying that's not what he's trying to do.
I think it's doing all right. I mean, it depends on who you ask, but a lot of people are really negative about it. But I think considering what's going on, I think no one's starving, no one's dying in mass numbers from any plagues. We're not having another world war, stuff like that. I mean, everyone overlooks things like that because they think it's so cliche, but it's really true. I mean, we're in an era of unparalleled prosperity.
Whether it is in a general unacceptance to welcoming immigrants and people that need it, I think we've strayed very far from the ideals of the land of liberty, the land where anyone can create and accomplish anything, regardless of whether you were born rich, poor, white, any other race, Christian, or, any other belief. And I think we've strayed from that. We've become a utopia for upper class, white, Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
They're firing everybody in the government. They're destroying relationships with our allies, tariffing all the goods, and wrecking the economy. So it's in a very bad state.
Do you think this is Trump's doing, or do you think it has something broader to do with the Republican Party?
It's the fault of the voters.
Yeah.
The voters are the problem. They elected him.
Why do you think the voters elected him?
I really have no idea, man. That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
That I just don't, I didn't understand it in 2016, and I don't understand it now. I don't get it.
Well, personally, nothing other than the fact that he's he doesn't just kind of sit there and take it because, I guess for a bit different for my parents, a lot of the other Republican candidates were always just kind of there.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump is at least a person. I know he's real. He's definitely a very bad person.
Yeah.
But like I said, no, personally, don't like him at all. Yeah. But at least his ideas, I do entertain them as well. I didn't vote, but if I was going to vote, I probably would have voted for Trump.
I think it's just because of how people grew up and how things have just evolved and changed over time, and a lot of what you learn is what your parents teach you, and a lot of certain things that are in certain environments and certain parts of media have definitely manipulated a person's mind.
It is I want to hold out hope. You don't want to be too pessimistic about it, but obviously the need for social change is very pressing right now.
Yeah.
A lot of these Democrats are really spineless and they don't want to fight.
Yeah.
They don't have any, last week there was a vote. Yeah. They were going to vote for a Senate resolution to stop the tariffs. And it failed 49-49 because Democrat Senator Sheldon Whitehouse missed the vote. How are we not fighting? Democrats are not fighting.
How do you think that social change will come? Do you think it'll come from protests peacefully, or do you think it'll come from riots, or just another election?
Well, I think people have to start protesting peacefully, but then, if I think political violence, for example, the Luigi Mangione killing, people judge that as he's morally relativistic, but it's not the same. If you or I commit a crime, the justice system is effective at making us pay for the crime we did. But in the example of a United Healthcare CEO, the justice system is completely ineffective at bringing rich people to justice. So all we have access to is vigilante justice.
I don't think there really is a fixing it. I think that the institutions that have created the society that America is currently situated in are too deeply entrenched to be changed. And that's terrifying. It's a terrifying prospect that you look at the way America's set up and there's not really an easy or sustainable way to fix it. Obviously, radical thinkers like Marx and Engels would say, seize the means of production and, move forward. But I don't think that is possible in the 21st century neoliberal America that we live in now.
The representative democracy is definitely very difficult. As we're seeing in Missouri right now, Missourians just voted to not ban abortion, and now our legislators are trying to go in the back door and get a ban in. Democracy is spoken and they're wanting to ignore it. So there's a lot of challenges that come with representatives, especially because it creates a bottleneck where corporate interests can subsidize them or lobby with them.
Do you think that it's the Electoral College's fault that we're in this position, where democracy is not being heard, or do you think it's just...
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Electoral College is a big part of that. It's definitely outdated, and the guys who came up with it after 30 years of it happening were saying this is not what we wanted. People say if we didn't have an electoral college, then we would have a direct democracy and we would be at the tyranny of the masses. And it's tyranny of the masses is the foundational principle for democracy. How is a tyranny of a minority better than the tyranny of the majority?
I think that the only way to go forward is for gentle reform, but that could take generations. And it would need consistent, selfless leadership that I don't think this country is capable of producing. So I think the best way to go about is to, elect not radical thinkers, but different thinkers that don't go in line with what the political norm has been for the past 120-some years.
When do you think the line should be crossed from peaceful to violent protest, or peaceful to disruptive protest?
If they start arresting, they did arrest a judge last week. If they start arresting more judges, if they start arresting Democratic politicians or something, and it's time to break out the pitchforks.
Look at him go. They finally let him back in.
Yeah, I don't think he can play music.
That sucks.
I know. Do you think social media is a microphone for the negativity in our culture, or do you think it is just a mirror of our culture?
Well, negativity sells. Hate sells. People like getting mad at stuff like that. So that's the first problem, is that, something like happiness is, no one cares. But if they have something that they get mad at, that's something that people care about. They go I can relate to that. So I think it is a microphone, but that's just because people like negativity. They like seeing things negative because they react over it.
Mirroring that.
I definitely think social media has an influence on a lot of things. While it could be specifically related to racism and bigotry, but also to just in personal communications, and relationships are not the same since social media, and there's a lot of, it's easier to access talking to people, and it's a lot it's very much different from how it used to be, on how to talk to people you could just walk outside and be oh, hey, how are you? There's no longer that person-to-person connection. You just message someone online, and I think it's made easier for creepy people, definitely pedophiles and perverts.
In the literal sense, yes, it's a mirror of our culture, how people post things and post their lives. It definitely kind of brings that culture in. But I think calling it a mirror doesn't make any real sense, because our culture is our culture. It doesn't need a mirror. Our culture, it's more, I feel like social media is more meant to express our culture instead of mirror it.
And you're out here in student circle talking about magic mushrooms.
Yes. We're trying to get it decriminalized first, which just means that the police won't be it's bottom priority for police. Eventually, we would want to push for legalization, but we gotta kind of take it one step at a time.
Ian Southwell.
Mason Blarney.
Brendan Francis.
My name is Cal Tobias.
My name is Jaron Black.
And Luke Thompson.